Welcome to Super Shea Tutorials. I'm Danny Shea, back with another weapons tutorial video. Today, we're going to be covering single chuck basics. So if you want to improve your skills, learn some sick tricks, and put together some high-powered forms, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss a single second. Let's get right to it. So today I'm going to be covering some of the basic techniques we need to be able to do with our chucks, especially for those higher level tricks. All right, you have your basic strikes and all. I'm going to be focusing on some of the spins and the figure eights. So let's get into it. For starters, we need to be able to do a forward spin, which basically, I just want to get this circular pattern with the vertical plane. Okay, the vertical plane goes up and down. I need that to happen so that I can use this technique later on. In addition to this, I also need to be able to do the backward spin on that same vertical plane. So it's going backwards toward my back. All right, and this is going to be useful in a lot of the techniques we're going to cover today. The main thing you need to remember is as you're using this weapon, the more you start to angle your hand, the more the chuck is going to start to go diagonally. And that's where you run into problems with hitting yourself in the head and the arm and the fingers, all that kind of stuff. So we want to try to get this straight vertical plane right here. And the technique that I'm talking about specifically is going to be the basic pass. And what that means is I'm passing it from one hand to the other. So I'm going to start with the chuck in my right hand. I'm going to let that one side just kind of dangle down, and I'm going to backward spin, and I'm going to bring it up over top of my right shoulder. So it comes up, and my other hand needs to be ready to make the catch on this. So I'm going to take that left hand, bring it across in front of my body, and I want to grab that end that's hanging down here underneath my arm. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Now I'm going to let go with my right hand. I'm going to release. The chuck falls. I'm going to bring it across to the other side, and then I'm going to do that same backward spin, getting that vertical circular pattern. And I'm going to bring it up over top of my left shoulder this time. My right hand is underneath, waiting to catch. I make my catch, and I'm going to come back to the other side. It comes down, backward spin, up and over. Down, backward spin, over the top. And that's going to be your basic pass. So you speed this up a little bit, it's going to be something more like this. The other technique in question, as far as spins go, is called an over-under. At least we call it an over-under. And what that means is I'm going to take the chuck from the over the shoulder position, and I'm literally going to go over, and then I'm going to go underneath my other arm and catch with my left hand. All right, the way this works, I need to be able to get my chuck from here out directly in front of my elbow. The biggest problem I see in this is when people bring it angled. That's going to come up and hit you in the head, just like it hit me in the head a second ago. So I need to get this chuck out in front of my elbow. There's a direct line between my elbow and my chuck. All right, if you can see that right here, it's directly in line. Now I'm going to take that chuck and I'm just going to swing it underneath my elbow. When I do this, it comes directly up into my hand. All right, so I'm going to take the left hand, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to take it out, line it up with my elbow, drop it down, underneath, and make my catch. So it comes under, over, and catch. Under, over, and catch. Just like this. All right, if you get that angle, again, what's probably going to happen is something like this, where it comes up, right there, hits me right in the back of the head. So try and get a straight line, because everything with chucks is based on a circular type of motion. Whatever way you send this side of the chuck, it's going to follow that circular pattern because of the rope or the chain that's in between. So we're going to start here. It comes over and under, just like that. So the other technique you're going to be able to do, and you're going to have to be able to do for the further up tricks, is the figure eight. All right, so the figure eight starts on one side and comes to the other. Now this is going to be the big version. This is how you learn initially. After this, we're going to kind of shorten it up, but we're using our whole arm for right now to make that big figure eight. It's kind of like you're drawing an X in the sky. So it comes across this way and it comes back this way. The other thing you need to note is the direction of my hand. As I come across my body, the palm of my hand is facing down toward the ground. And then when I go to bring it back to the other side, I need to turn my hand up so that the palm of my hand is facing the ceiling, and then I cut it back across. So palm down, and then palm up. Palm down, palm up. Palm down, palm up. Now the idea for this trick is that we don't use the arm hardly at all. Really all the motion should be coming from the wrist. So as we shorten this up, this really big movement, we're going to start to tuck our elbow into our side and really stop using that altogether. And then the forearm is just for clearance across your body, and then eventually you just shorten it up to where you're only using your wrist. And you're going to get something a little bit like this. And then you can start to gain speed, and it's going to be a nice little move in any of your forms. In addition to a forward figure eight, we also have a reverse figure eight. The biggest difference between these two moves is the direction the chuck is moving. So for a forward figure eight, you'll notice I had that downward motion as I'm coming across your screen right now. The reverse figure eight is completely opposite. The reverse has an upward motion. This is more of a defensive move, a block, or deflecting something coming at you. So to master this one, this is a little awkward after you've learned the forward figure eight. We're going to think of it like this. There are bugs coming towards your eye. What's the first thing you do when a bug comes towards your eye? You swat it away. So we're going to do the same thing with our chuck. We're going to bring it up and out. My palm is now facing you. So for the other side, now this bug's coming in over here, I'm going to swat that one away, and now the back of my hand is facing you and the palm is facing the back of the room. So once you can get this nice and flowing, full arm motion, we're going to release the one side of the chuck and we're going to continue that. So it comes up and across, up and across. All right, and then we smooth that out, make it nice and flowing, and then we start to shorten it up just like we did for the forward figure eight. We tuck the elbow in, we just use the forearm for clearance, and then we shorten it up even more, and it's pretty much all wrist movement from there. As you speed it up, it's going to look like this. So those are your forward and reverse figure eights. We covered spins, over-unders, and basic passes. Those are the majority of the basic moves that you're going to need for tricking later on. There's also, your strikes, the bounces, where you're bouncing it off your body to get through transitions and such. But for the future tricks, make sure you can do these spins and these figure eights really, really well. It's going to make the other ones so much easier. I want to thank you all for stopping by. If you enjoyed the video, if you learned something, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you get future notifications when videos go up. And if you're having issues or you want to tell me how your training's going, put that down in the comments. Or if there's a different weapon you'd like to see, put that in the comments as well. I'd love to work with some more weapons and really show some really cool tricks. Thank you again. I hope you all have a phenomenal, awesome day.